Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. AEW had a lot going on, including Bryan Danielson. Yeah, Bryan Danielson looking forward, and he puts out the challenge that he wants to go against AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega. Well, we was going to see the confrontation between the two. Only time will tell on that. Also, too, MJF continue to agonize and continue to antagonize Brian Pillman Jr. We've seen the best of that. We'll have to wait and see between those two. Also, too, Adam Cole makes his AEW wrestling debut, wrestling against Frankie Kazarian as well. Well, this was going to be Adam Cole's biggest night. Let's wait and see. And CM Punk on the headset on commentary. CM Punk got himself in a whole lot of stuff too. Woo! What's going on with that? All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Ring Report. Dynamite starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Diggs here on this live edition. We are live. Live is big deal. Live is bigger than you want to know it. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Miss Kim. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right. AEW Dynamite is in the books for September 15th, 2021. So this is the review show. Now let's get started. Crowd favorite CM Punk returned to AEW Dynamite. It's time to sit as a guest commentator throughout the duration of the show. Well, we'll tell you what Punk run in with Taz and company, what that led to later in the show. But Adam Cole kicked things off on AEW Dynamite. He did his baby. He took on Frankie Kazarian one-on-one. Adam Cole, after rumors and reports that Adam Cole was supposed to join WWE in the main roster, and he found out he was going to manage Keith Lee, he said, But Adam Cole dismissed it, saying that he didn't know what he was going to do, but a lot of people saying that was going to be his role. Adam Cole made the right decision. He kicked off, winning his match against Frank Kazarian, got the 1-2-3, and that was it. Also, too, MJF continued to antagonize Brian Pillman Jr. MJF, with the antagonization that he did last week, calling out Brian Pillman Jr.'s family and his mom, which that was kind of rude and unprofessional MJF. But MJF is at a point he doesn't care. All he cares about is trying to get himself over and get himself done with. Well, we saw Big E. Congratulations to Big Lee winning the WWE title as well. But we'll talk about that in a later show. But at the last week's attack, as you see right here, MJF was going to spread the strike at Brian Pillman Jr.'s friend Griff Garrett's his tag team partner. And then he was saying disparaging remarks about Pillman's family, including his mother, calling her Methody. It's his mother trying to insinuate she's doing drug use. We're not going to say what drug use she does. It was a word of word. But I feel like Brian Pillman Jr. has the advantage, and he's getting this program in MJF. But like I said, only things time will tell. But Brian Pillman Jr. can get the upper hand on the brash, young, cocky MJF. Also, too, was this. You see right there, Brian Pillman Jr. standing his ground in the ring on MJF. So we'll talk about that. Also, too, was FTR was in that in 6-man tag action. They went against Dante Martin. Dante Martin proving to be a proven commodity. Even Tully Blanchard in that corner. Tully Blanchard manager of FTR, want a piece of yeah. But things even went a little bit far too when Darby Allin took on Shawn Spears. You see Shawn Spears trying to use a chokehold, even doing a backbreaker onto Darby Allin's spine. Even Darby Allin trying to do the coffin drop, got the 1, 2, 3. But the real story of the match was after the match, Tully Blanchard right here. Tully confronted his old time rival Sting. Sting in the corner to get some of Tully. But until out of nowhere, FTR attacked Sting. Tully set Sting up. Tully Blanchard even trying to get the upper hand on Sting by rubbing Sting's face paint off of Sting. That was uncalled for, and FTR leaving a mess behind. Sting had to be carried to the back. I think Sting ain't gonna forget about what had happened to him, and he's gonna get his revenge sorely one way or another on what FTR did to him. It was just that rubbing his face like that. That was just pure disrespect. It was disrespect. I don't think this is far from over from Darby Allin and Shawn Spears as well. You can tell. Also, too, Jade Cargill was in action. She went against legit Layla Hurst, beat her easily. 1, 2, 3. It was just a squash match, but you know how that go. So how that far it ends. Like Jade Cargill gonna be a proven commodity down the road, some way, somehow. Speaking of that, CM Punk, who was on the commentary, CM Punk commentary for the night. We thought CM Punk was out there just to commentate, but CM Punk got a little out of his trouble as Taz. Taz came out there and confront CM Punk and told CM Punk, "Hey, you don't need to be coming out here taking my job." And my sister told me like hey, you kind of know what was going to happen. I'm like, yeah, Taz a commentator. That was just a plot right there. Taz is a commentator. Taz gonna feel like he's being threatened by his job, by CM Punk taking his job, by just coming out here being the new kid in town. But CM Punk got attacked by Team Taz. Taz and Hook lured CM Punk into Powerhouse Hobbs, who slammed CM Punk through the announce table. So CM Punk, getting his comeuppance, but the Team Taz sending a message to CM Punk after what those statements that he made last week about send me Hook, send me Starks. We haven't seen Ricky Starks. We don't know what's going on with Ricky Starks and them. Is he trying to continue his program with Brian Cage? Only time will tell on that. And speaking of that, we'll have on the hot topics on what's going on with Brian Cage. If you don't remember. But hey, yes, but yeah. Also, too, a war of words where Malachi Black came out there in the mysterious attire. Malachi Black was trying to talk to his fans or his legions of fans, and he said that he got a problem with Rosario Dawson, the actress, the Hollywood actress who dating Cory Booker, and she kind of made it clear and stuff. Rosario trying to make a target. Before long, Cody came out there and got him some of Aleister Black and won a piece of Aleister Malachi Black. I'm so used to call him Aleister Black. Got some. So we know next week that Cody will go against Malachi Black in the New York Super Show Grand Slam. So look for that happening soon rather than later. Also, too, Chris Jericho, along with Jake Hager, came out there, and they was out there to confront Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert acting like a AEW version of Jim Cornette. He came out there to speak his piece and speak his mind about wrestlers, real wrestlers in his day. Really, dude. Jericho and Jericho and Hager had enough. Jericho now finding his target with Dan Hager and some of Dan Hager's students. We know Man of the Year out there, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. So we're gonna see Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky tagging along with Jericho and Hager. Well, we can see that happening very soon, and we don't know what Dan Lambert's role is going to be in this as well. So, he's going to have a role one way or another. Lambert mixed up. It's going to be interesting to see, but only time will tell on that. Also, too, Bryan Danielson came out there. He wants a piece. He wants a shot at Kenny Omega, not for the belt, but just a one-on-one match to claim who's the true wrestler of who's the true best wrestler. Daniel Bryan, many people consider him to be the best wrestler in the world. As well, Kenny Omega, who recently got honored for PWI Top 100 of last year. He's the number one wrestler. I kind of disagree with that, but I think Roman should have been number one. But not knocking. Kenny Omega is a great wrestler. When it comes to wrestling skills, yeah, Kenny Omega, but when it comes to box office attraction, Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns had a milestone. He was champion for a year and continued on dominant. Even Roman Reigns went and defeated Daniel Bryan. Now Daniel Bryan going to AEW, prove himself to who the readers think is number one. Wrestling a true aficionado, who's number one on that. Also, too, Daniel Bryan will get his shot at Kenny Omega next week. He'll be at the Grand Slam next week. These two men, these two champions battle out for the first time ever in AEW. Can't wait to see that one. Also, too, Jon Moxley, a former AEW champion, teamed up with Eddie Kingston to go against the team of 2.0, which that match was kind of, 2.0. Moxley and them setting up 2.0. Even Daniel Garcia down here trying to scream and shout. Daniel Garcia gonna be a big star one day. He keeps it up. 2.0 trying to rake Moxley's face down. Thought they had Moxley down in the corner, down and out. 2.0 did one of the members did an elbow drop. You see Eddie Kingston want that hot tag. He wants to be reached for that hot tag so he can make it and kick some butt. But then Moxley won the match. Got the 1, 2, 3. Jon Moxley continuing his winning ways. Him and Eddie Kingston are a formidable team. They're going to get the job done. Don't be surprised down the road they might be future World Tag Team Champions one day. Because you can tell, you can see it. But it didn't end there. It's Jon Moxley and her group. I forgot who his name from New Japan. They battled it out at the end. This is far from over between these two men. They want to take it to the max. So they're going to take it to the max. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. Will they have a match at the Grand Slam? You know, all these important matches happen at the Grand Slam. So it could happen sooner rather than later. All right. That is your AEW Dynamite Ring Report. So let's quickly go to Hot Topics. On Hot Topics this week. Speaking of Hot Topics, we talked about what's the latest with Melissa Santos and her husband, Brian Cage, AEW star. Melissa Santos made a rant about Brian Cage not being used properly in AEW, and she feels like he's being left by the wayside. Well, most of the time, if one spouse feels that way, the other one feels the same way. Cage hasn't said nothing yet, but time will tell. Cage was in a program with Team Taz. All of a sudden, CM Punk's in the program. So that could be a possibility. They could probably do Punk and Cage working together to take on Team Taz and finally shut up Team Taz. That's the only possibility I can see. Punk and Cage working together. If that happens. But only time will tell on that. And two, WWE made the finalization of the draft. The draft will start on SmackDown on October 1st and continue on and concludes on Monday Night Raw. Then SmackDown season premiere, King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring will start. So a lot of things are happening in the blue brand. So a lot is going on. Even too that they saying Bray Wyatt could debut in AEW late October and probably be the new leader of the Dirt whatever the group name is, the Dark Order. That could happen down the road. We just don't know yet. Only time will tell on that. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Hopefully, we'll probably get the NXT Ring Report soon. So look out for that coming your way. So for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you this Friday or Saturday morning for SmackDown Ring Report. See you later.